Viewers, the devotees have the right to light the Deepam at the Deepathun. This Madras High Court verdict has ended, for the moment at least, the legal tussle over the demand to light a Deepam at the stone pillar atop Tamil Nadu's Thiruparakundram. The Madras High Court has said that it was ridiculous for a mighty state to fear that lighting a Deepam once a year could disturb public peace, and that such unrest would occur only if sponsored by the state itself. Now, this verdict comes as a big blow to the DMK government, with the division bench upholding the single judge's order terming the lighting of the Deepam a common practice. Let me quickly take you through some of the key takeaways of the court order. The first is that they've upheld the right to light the lamp at the pillar. Second is that disturbance only if state sponsors it. They've also confirmed that the pillar spot belongs to the temple. The fourth takeaway, they've said that it has come out to slam the quote-unquote imaginary ghost of law and order that was stated by the district administration. Fifth takeaway, rejected Tamil Nadu Waqf Board's quote-unquote mischievous claim. The sixth takeaway has cautioned state for pitting communities against each other. Also, of course, has said that judicial supremacy over executive fiat. Now, essentially, the division bench of Justice G. Jayachandran and Justice K.K. Ramakrishnan has upheld the judgment of Justice G.R. Swaminathan. The same judge that Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and the India bloc want impeached for his quote-unquote political ideology and non-secular ways. Now, viewers, given that two other judges have agreed with Justice Swaminathan, will they also be put in the impeachment queue? Or will the India bloc withdraw their petition against Justice Swaminathan? Seems highly unlikely, given that the Stalin government is appealing today's order in the Supreme Court. Now, the BJP sees the High Court verdict as a big win for Hindu devotees and has also slammed the DMK government, demanding an apology. Meanwhile, the AIADMK has welcomed the court order. Listen in.
Now it's a slap on the face of the DMK and they stand exposed. They peddled lies after the judicial judgment came out and they didn't implement it. On top of which, they moved an impeachment motion against the judge by intimidating him. Now everything stands exposed.
The Chief Minister M.K. Stalin should apologize for what they have done, for not obeying the court orders, for hurting the sentiments of Hindus and being a mute spectator on the abuses against Justice G.R. Swaminathan.
It is a huge win for the Hindu Astha, for the Hindu devotees who the DMK government lathi charged, abused and insulted. Time and again, DMK, Congress, India Alliance, they always attack Hindu Astha and they do appeasement politics.
DMK, however, has made it clear that this victory is short-lived and that they are approaching the Supreme Court. Additionally, India bloc members who wanted the original Deepam judge impeached have said that it is the judiciary's responsibility to ensure that its rulings are not influenced by government pressure.
சுடுகாடு இருக்கிறது அங்கேதான் நம்ம பாடியை எரிக்க வேண்டும் என்று சொல்லி கிராமங்கள் வைத்திருந்தால் அந்த இடத்துல தான் போய் எடுப்பாங்க. அதுக்கு போல வேற எந்த இடத்துலயும் போய் எரிக்க மாட்டாங்க. அதுபோல பழக்க வழக்கங்கள் தான். எனவே அந்த பழக்க வழக்கத்தை மாற்றாதீர்கள். இதுவரை எந்த ஆதாரமும் இல்லாத ஒரு இடத்திலே எதற்காக இப்படி ஒரு தீர்ப்பை கொடுத்து தமிழ்நாட்டிலே ஒரு குழப்பத்தை உருவாக்க முயற்சிக்க வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் எங்களுடைய கேள்வி.
ये जिम्मेदारी जुडिशरी की है कि वो सरकार के दबाव के अंदर कोई फैसला ना करे. सरकार जिस तरीके से अपनी पसंद के फैसले कराती रही है और जजेस को राज्यसभा का मेंबर और गवर्नर और बड़े-बड़े ओहदे रिटायरमेंट के बाद देती रही है, उससे जुडिशरी की इज्जत में कमी आती है.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us is Tuhin Sira, National Spokesperson of BJP. M.R. Venkatesh, Advocate, is with us. A. Sarvanan, National Spokesperson of DMK, is with us. We have Advocate Ahmed Ayaz, I beg your pardon, Political Analyst. Nikhil Jain is with us, Political Analyst. Let me start first and foremost with Nikhil Jain. Nikhil Jain, the court has come out to say that attempts to demoralize and demean the judiciary with the might of power has also surfaced. They've invoked the Latin phrase, fiat justitia ruat caelum. Let justice be done, though the heavens fall. Given that the entire India bloc wanted Justice Swaminathan impeached, are you now going to invoke same impeachment proceedings against these two judges as well?
Madhav, first of all, I made it clear in your debates a month ago that the impeachment motion, removal motion that was moved forward by the opposition with regards to the previous judge was not in reference to the particular judgment that he had given. It was an event in a series of events wherein there were multiple complaints by former judges, members of the bar and others about the judge being partisan, and there are various judgments on record where he has deviated from binding precedent of the Madras High Court and I think in some cases also the Supreme Court. So let's not mix the two, number one. Number two, this judgment from the division bench of the Madras High Court I think is a fabulous, beautiful judgment that would be taught to law students for years to come as a landmark case for the legal concept. It's a legal concept that I'm talking about. As coined by Jeremy Bentham, it's the concept of legal fiction, wherein courts decide or rule on a particular issue despite there being no evidence, no legal backing for something, and the court invents something. It's called legal fiction. It's a proper concept. Because in this particular case, the state is saying that the Deepam was not lit at this particular stone. The temple management is saying the same thing. There are other parties which are saying the same thing, but some private individuals just claiming to be devotees, they say no, the Deepam should be lit here, despite the fact that for the past several decades it's been lit elsewhere. And there is nothing in record, there is no evidence on record to prove that this new pillar is the one where originally this tradition happened. Yet the court has for some reason...
So the court is wrong. So you believe that the High Court is wrong? That is your point of view? Nevertheless, whether you're proceeding with the impeachment proceedings...
I see it as an interference in religion. I honestly see it as an interference in religion.
The court has said that the state government has completely failed to protect the law and order. Let's also look at that. You know, a few people gathering together and lighting the Deepathoon is not going to disturb the law and order. The mighty court has enough at its hand. The mighty state has enough at its hand is what the court has observed. And let me bring in Sarvanan on this. Sarvanan, is the DMK now going to push for these two judges also to be impeached?
Yeah. See, I think it is not in the right spirit when you talk of impeachment proceedings in such frivolous way. And the impeachment proceedings against the earlier judge was not brought on
your party has moved the impeachment proceedings. You were part of an earlier debate.
All these events.
It is your party that initiated the impeachment proceedings, is it not?
That's what I'm referring, right? Yes.
So why should the same yardstick not apply here?
For what reasons? Not because he gave judgment in this case. No, that's what I'm saying. The impeachment was not for giving judgment in this case. That's what I'm saying. The complaint on this impeachment motion predates this judgment. It was given in August 2024, 2025. So
the fact is
nothing to link these two.
The fact is you moved it after the order. The fact is that it came to the parliament much after this order. Whenever you may have initiated it, it came to light only after this order. And this is the final nail in the coffin is what your people have also stated.
See, that's what. See, that's what. You may attribute so many other reasons. But there is a thing called fact, a factual position. And the factual position remains something else. And the question is this. Whose prerogative is to maintain law and order? It is the prerogative of the state government. In 2014, the ADMK government led by Madam Jayalalitha refused to allow Deepam to be lit there. In 2017, Mr. Edapadi Palanichami, the ADMK chief minister then, opposed a move for Deepam to be lit in the place where they wanted to be lit now. And 2025, suddenly BJP wakes up. They sleep all these 5 years. On the eve of the elections, they wake up, file a petition through their acolyte, and all of them go and gangbang. They go and descend on
Thiruparakundram. Who is sleeping and who is dreaming, I think the court has adjudicated. But let me read it out for the benefit of our viewers. The High Court has made a very scathing remark. It says that it's ridiculous and hard to believe the fear of the mighty state that by allowing representatives of the Devasthanam to light the lamp at the stone pillar near top of the hill located within its territory of Devasthanam land on a particular day in a year will cause disturbance to public peace. Of course, this may happen only if such disturbance is sponsored by the state itself. So the court has held the state responsible.
Now what gives the court to write cast questions on this?
It will not be...
Question for Sarvanan. Sarvanan, please answer.
Is the question to me?
Yes, answer.
Yeah. See, this view of the judge is erroneous. The judge ought not to have come to this conclusion. Because ultimately, what's happening on the ground is felt by the police officers. They are the best persons to take into account, find out what is happening and come to a conclusion, take decisions on the spot. It is very easy for somebody to sit somewhere else and comment on situations based on an affidavits. But when real and live things are happening, it is the officer who is there on the ground who is best suited to take decisions. So law and order
this is what the court is saying. The court has gone further, projecting as if such congregation will cause disturbance to peace, stampede, disharmony among communities, either exposure of incapacity or to maintain law and order, or hesitant to bring harmony amongst the communities. You allege that BJP is communal. What is preventing your government or district administration from holding talks and settling the issue, Saravanan?
Yeah, see, 100 years. 100 years. This is the status quo, and suddenly some devotee, some political party leader who has suddenly found his new love for Lord Muruga wakes up, files a petition, and suddenly 100 years what has happened has to vanish, and everybody will say, oh, the state government can handle this. See, there is precedence. N number of times. This is the consistent stand taken by the courts after independence in India, that Deepam should not be lit there.
Well,
Deepam should be lit in the place where
if I can remind you, the Ram Mandir issue also was being disputed for several centuries. But let me bring in M.R. Venkatesh. M.R. Venkatesh, is there an attempt to change the status quo as being alleged by the DMK and the Congress? Because they say that suddenly the BJP has woken up to this issue. Your response?
No, I do not speak for the BJP. The BJP spokesperson is here and he will speak for it. But let me tell you, because I represented the petitioner there in the court, if Mr. Jain and Mr. Sarvanan's argument is to be taken to a logical conclusion, they will go, and if we time travel to August 15, 1947, they will tell to Chacha Nehru, Mr. Nehru, we didn't have a precedence of, unfurling the national flag on the ramparts of the Red Fort till date. It was done by the British, and the British were ruling us. So you cannot create a new precedent. Let a status quo should prevail. For 100 years, we never had somebody Indian who was unfurling the national flag. Now, this type of ridiculous argument is what is being propounded. Now, this is what the court saw through. They said, look, there was always a right under Article 25. And this is not being done at any other place. Please understand this. This is not done at Sarvanan's house or my house. This is done at a place which is held sacred by the Hindus. This is the entire temple is on a hillock which is held sacred. This is a Shiva, Lord Shiva himself manifesting as a temple for the devotees. Now you may believe that, you may not believe that. That's entirely your prerogative. But 1923, a judgment of a local court in Madurai, upheld by the Privy Council in London, held it that this entire hill belongs to the Hindus, and that a part of it, completely far away from the dargah, is sought to be used. Now you may say this is not a Deepatum. You may say that is something else, a plastic place or a granite stone. What if I ask that I go there as a devotee and light a lamp on one day in a year for 2 hours? One day in a year for 2 hours, DMK sees communal harmony being disrupted. Muslim Waqf board comes and says Islam is under threat. If that lamp is lit there, this is the statement of the Waqf board lawyers. This is the statement of the Advocate General here. All of them converge and say a lamp being lit, secularism will be destroyed, communal harmony will be destroyed, public order will be destroyed. Look how fragile it is. The great religion of Islam will be destroyed. All that you have to do is to light one lamp. And the court saw through these shenanigans.
Okay. Respond to that. Sarvan, respond to that. So the secular fabric will suddenly be destroyed, says M.R. Venkatesh, if for 2 hours once a year, devotees go and light a lamp. Is it really that fragile?
See, there are, I'll answer that. See, there are, in Tamil, we call this Arupadai Veedu. Lord Muruga resides in 6 places, at 6 hillocks in the state of Tamil Nadu, and Thiruparakundram is one. And why suddenly BJP and their acolytes wake up to Thiruparakundram? Because no other Arupadai Veedu has a dargah near it. Only Thiruparakundram has a dargah near it. We have seen. We don't want to. We don't want what happened in the Babri Masjid, what happened in Gyanvapi Masjid to come back. We don't want the BJP to do that.
No, but by your own admission, if it is there in 6 places,
lectures.
why should the practice not be there in the 7th location? By your own admission, you are saying this, right?
No, Madhav, let us understand. The
See,
prayer
that's what I'm saying. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. See, the same thing. Same thing. What happened in the Sabarimala? In Sabarimala. Allow me, sir. Allow me to speak.
One by one. Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one, please. Once again. Okay, Venkatesh, 30 seconds to Sarwan, then you can respond.
Should be allowed in Sabarimala. But what did the BJP say? Madhav, wait, Madhav, allow me to speak.
I'm telling
Why
you to speak. Calm down.
You
Don't
did
have
not
to shout.
interfere. When
I've
the
told
other
Venkatesh
gentleman was
to
speaking.
calm down and speak.
Allow me to speak.
Calm down, Sarwan. The floor is yours. You're not hearing correctly.
Yes. In the Sabarimala verdict, what did the BJP say? What did the BJP say? They said, we will not allow, we will not follow the Supreme Court's verdict. This is against us. They did not follow. So, when it suits you, you are saying you will not follow it. When it suits us, you are saying, oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. The state government actually implemented. Sarvaran, the state government actually went ahead and implemented the Supreme Court verdict against what the devotees there said. The left government bore the consequences electorally as far as the unpopularity of the government is concerned. Coming to you, Tuhin, just a minute. M.R. Venkatesh wants to respond to this.
Yes. Factually, Mr. Saravanan is wrong. I did not, or the petitioner did not want to go and light the lamp. There is nothing called the devotee to light the lamp. We only wanted the executive officer of the temple through his officers to go up and light the lamp. It is the government officers who will light the lamp at a place which is completely that of the Hindus. And we don't want to light it inside the dargah. We don't want it in the place near the dargah. And the courts have said any place beyond 15 meters is that of the Hindus, and you can do it. In fact, I on the court, on the floor, on my feet, offered this, that even that places can be barricaded, and even then the employees can go and do this particular lighting of the lamp. What more do you want? What more do you want? You don't believe your own state employees to light it? You don't believe your own executive officers of the temple to light it?
Response, Sarwan.
I did not want to go up.
Yeah, see, that's what. 75 years after independence, no court allowed a lamp to be lit in that place. Now, why? Why they want to do that? That is the question which needs to be answered. We question their intention.
If your own government employees are going, what is the issue?
Rama, so and so, is he a devotee?
If the government employees are going, what's the issue?
He is a proxy of the BJP. Yeah. So that's what we know. Sir, what will happen.
The point is, if it's not devotees, if it's not the BJP lighting the lamp, if it's an executive officer of the government of Tamil Nadu, what is the issue? Surely you trust your own employees.
And that is what
that's what.
Finally said.
See, that's what the temple authorities for the last 75 years. Let's not go before independence, because Mr. M.R. Venkatesh may feel, oh, Chacha Nehru will not hoist the flag. Let's not go there. Let's think about what happened after.
No, they have a right to appeal. No, Sarvanan, this logic, I'm sorry. By this logic, we will never have any breakthrough in an issue for 75 years. There is no justice. There should be no justice ahead. That logic doesn't come in. I want to bring in Tuhin, because repeatedly Sarvanan says BJP has suddenly discovered this issue. BJP is raising this issue because there is actually a dargah present there. I want you to respond to him, Tuhin.
Well, Madhav, after today's scathing judgment of the Madras High Court, let there be no doubt in anybody's mind that M.K. Stalin is the Muhammad Yunus of Tamil Nadu. You know, the judgment is important on two counts. Number one, not only does it give unequivocal permission for the Deepathun to take place at the Thiruparakundram hill, where it should take place for the worship of Lord Murugan, it also calls out the bluff of Tamil Nadu government on the entire perception that it will create law and order problems. In fact, it seems the court has taken cognizance of the closet anarchist tendency of Tamil Nadu government by very clearly saying that if at all there is a law and order problem, it will be sponsored by you. I think that is very important. Number two, I think it is about time Indy Alliance starts respecting our judiciary. Yesterday, the Supreme Court delivered a very important judgment with regard to Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam. Has any Indy Alliance party supported the judgment, or has any Indy Alliance party condemned what happened subsequently at JNU, where Modi Teri Kabr Khudegi slogans were raised? It clearly shows that Indy Alliance is fundamentally anti-constitution, anti-judiciary, and it is about time, instead of going to the Supreme Court, these Indy Alliance leaders should consider withdrawing the impeachment motion against the previous judge. Today they are saying that impeachment motion had nothing to do with the present judgment, but fact is it was moved only after this present judgment in the first week of December. And what was the need for Priyanka Gandhi to join in? What was the need for Uddhav Sena to join in? What was the need for Samajwadi Party to join in? This very clearly shows the Indy Alliance is an alliance of Hindu haters. It is an alliance which is cobbled together only to trample upon Hindu sentiment.
Okay, Ahmed Ayaz, respond to that. This is an alliance of Hindu haters, is what Tuhin Sinha is saying. But the point is very simple. The point is you have a problem with one judge. That is understandable. Maybe there is some issue with that judge. A larger bench also rules the same thing. That also you disagree with. Is the problem with the judiciary then? Or is the problem with the state government which is not implementing the orders of the judiciary? And this is a very serious constitutional issue. If in state after state, court orders are not implemented until there's a stay, that will lead to a huge constitutional vacuum and a crisis.
Mr. Madhav, it should not be difficult to understand that though nobody is against Nadu Deepam as a religious practice there, but the only thing is, it's a matter of the location. Where the administration itself and the dargah committees management has objected to that, and that's being done for the first time, and I don't think it is there a practice anywhere, it is a precedence anywhere. Why is it being done today? It is really a question.
Ahmed Ayaz, do you know where the Kashi Vishwanath temple and the Gyanvapi mosque, how far they are from each other? Are you aware of how far the mosque is in the Mathura Krishna Janmabhoomi? How far is it? So the proximity argument is a fallacious one. I'm sorry. This does not cut any ice. Proximity does not raise an issue, because that is the way in which people have been practicing for centuries.
No, Mr. Madhav, then I will quote Babri Masjid. See, there was no proof found by the judiciary itself that there was ever anything pertaining to Hindus. But still,
sir, which judgment are you talking about? Which judgment are you talking about?
See, it's a matter of interpretation. It's a matter of individual views.
Have you read the judgment?
Whether court has done the right.
Have you read the judgment, Ahmed Ayaz?
No, if we go by the logic and the merit of the case, well, it should have been seen that the law and order pertains to the state. It is a state domain. It's a state subject.
Yes, and the state has utterly failed, is what the High Court has said. Why could the state not provide security and prevent this and actually allow this from happening? Why could they not do that?
When the local administration says, so it can lead to some sort of conflict and a dispute between the communities. I think that needed to be given a regard. That needed to be regarded.
Tuhin Sinha, quick response. From Ram Janmabhoomi to the district administration, reign supreme. Please respond to these two questions of Ahmed Ayaz.
I don't understand why they have a problem when it comes to respecting Hindu sentiments. The courts have passed a judgment, and like you mentioned, even the additional bench, even the review bench has only reiterated the original judgment. What happens when the Supreme Court would, tomorrow pass a similar judgment? Where will they go? Will they go to the International Court of Justice? It is about time this Indy Alliance starts respecting the courts of this country. It is about time they stop casting aspersions on the courts of the country only because the courts have passed a judgment which is not in sync with their minority appeasement politics. I think that is the larger issue over here. The DMK representative was asking, there is a dargah nearby. What does he mean? Just because there is a dargah nearby, the Hindus should give up the right to worship in that particular place. The dargah is in the vicinity. It is not not there. It is not a Waqf land as the Waqf board is habituated to claiming. These are important points of distinction which the DMK is conveniently ignoring over here.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Completely out of time, gentlemen. Tuhin Sinha, M.R. Venkatesh, A. Sarvanan, Advocate Ahmed Ayaz and Advocate Nikhil Jain. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us, and of course all eyes on what the Supreme Court has to say on this matter. Big breaking news coming in. US President Donald Trump has made a fresh claim, this time by claiming that PM Modi is not happy with him. Trump says, and I quote, Prime Minister Modi is not that happy with me because they are paying a lot of tariffs. They have reduced it substantially from Russia. Listen in.
India ordered 68 Apaches, and Prime Minister Modi came to see me. Sir, may I see you, please? Yes, I have a very good relationship with him. He's not that happy with me because, you know, they're paying a lot of tariffs now because they're not doing the oil, but they are. They've now reduced it very substantially, as you know, from Russia.
All right, let me get a quick comment on this from Pathikrit Payne, who's a geopolitical analyst. Pathikrit, how do you look at it? Because, you know, in India, this is a hugely sensitive political issue, particularly when President Trump has constantly talked about mediating. We've seen statements such as Narendra surrender coming in from none less than the LOP. But if that is a situation of surrender of the Indian government, then how is it that President Trump is not happy with Prime Minister Modi? There's a lot that's going to be read and that's going to, you know, dominate the political discourse, particularly as far as this statement. I know your domain is not politics, it's geopolitics, but how do you read the statement of President Trump?
No, that's fine. My domain is also equally politics. See, the issue is this: these statements are deliberately made so that the opposition in India can latch on to them and create pressure on the government of India. Nobody in India is aware of any time that government of India ordered 68 Apache helicopters. That is a complete lie being said by President Trump. Only 6 helicopters were ordered in 2020 and all the 6 have been delivered. Secondly, when the last time Prime Minister Modi went to United States, that was almost a year before Operation Sindoor, and there was no tariff that time. So there is no evidence, no data of Prime Minister Modi recently going and meeting President Trump and asking about these Apache helicopters and being unhappy. So these are lies, misleading lies. India's growth story remains firm. If in spite of these tariffs, India's foreign exchange reserve is almost near $700 billion. In spite of these tariffs, the internal economy-driven Indian economy is on course to become a $5 trillion economy by 2027. These are pressure tactics being used by President Trump.
So you're essentially saying that while the trade negotiations are on, this is nothing but an attempt to try and build pressure on the Indian government.
Absolutely, because President Trump had claimed that it was a trade deal, carrot that he dangled in front of India, and because of which India stopped the war. I mean, it's been more than 6 months that Operation Sindoor took place. Till date, US has not been able to conclude that trade deal because India has been firm that we will not open up our agriculture, poultry, dairy and fisheries market for American products. So these are pressure tactics. We have got used to them.
All right, Pathikrit, please stay with us. We, of course, are going to slip into our next debate on the show.